Welcome back, everybody. Yesterday, we talked about social media in this year, 2021, how it evolved, what was popular. So now let's get out our crystal ball and see what is next. Vincent Orleck, who's the president of the Social Media Club of Phoenix. Vincent, how you doing? You did twofer. You in there yesterday, and here you are back again today. Good to see you, pal. Did you have a nice night?
Yeah, good to see you. Good
Anything
to see you
fun
too,
last
Troy.
night?
I hesitate to call these predictions because
Okay.
we don't want to. I don't want to go that far. But some of these things are things that may happen. They're likely to happen.
Yeah, well, they say, you study history to kind of look at what's going to happen next, right? You can kind of predict what's going on. So we've seen some trends for sure. All right, what do you think the trends are here going into 2022?
Yeah. So I try to narrow it down because there's obviously so much happening in this social media world and industry on a daily basis, minute by minute. Some of the things I was looking for, there's some continuation of trends. So things like e-commerce, right? We've seen a lot of, especially over the last couple of years with the pandemic, people being stuck at home, buying items online and through social media even. Instagram launched a lot of different tools for people to be able to do that, among others. But that trend is not going away. If anything, it's going to grow even more because a lot of these platforms, what they're trying to do is get people to spend time on the platform. And the way that they can also do that is, and bring in companies and brands to spend money on the platforms, is for them to be able to sell on these channels.
And it makes sense too. I'm sure they have algorithms, Vincent, that say, Vincent's been looking at a lot of different wood cutting videos or whatever. And the next thing you know, there's an axe that shows up in your timeline.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's been a longstanding thing where they have this thing called retargeting, which a lot of people are familiar with, maybe not by the name. But if you go on to like some particular shopping or a website anywhere, really, it doesn't have to be shopping. But say you are shopping, you see like a pair of shoes, you come back to Facebook, you'll see an ad for that pair of shoes. A lot of people get a little creeped out by that, but that's basically how it works, where they can narrow that down and find you on these platforms based on what you're doing on other websites. Okay,
and you say adults on TikTok. So do you think, Facebook started as a bunch of kids, and then now your grandma's on it, and so you think the same thing's going to happen with TikTok?
Absolutely, yeah, and it happened with Instagram as well. You don't get to 1 billion users with just children or just teenagers. It goes more mainstream. So I do see TikTok growing. It's not only kids even now. It's something like 60% under 34, with 25% in the like maybe Gen X millennial age group, more along those lines. So I do see just more and more people using it, because even in the United States, it's somewhere around 80 to 100 million. There's room for growth. We have over 300 million people in the U.S., so there's definitely room for growth on TikTok.
All right, get to your next one. Put out that board back up for me so I can go through this if you can.
Yeah, with Meta, right? So capital M Meta. Okay. That is Facebook. Meta is not going anywhere. They converted basically the company to be the conglomerate known as capital M Meta. But all these other metaverses are going to happen where you're already starting to see it. Brands are going to create their own metaverse where they're going to be able to sell. It goes back to the e-commerce part. I also see LinkedIn with the great reshuffle, the great reset, people using LinkedIn much more in their job search, and recruiters continuing to use LinkedIn in a big way. And I do see a potential for more oversight by not just the platforms themselves, but the government, especially with an election year coming up here, 2022 midterms. We could see a lot more dedicated resources to some sort of oversight by not just the platforms themselves, but government.
Okay, and you're saying less social audio. What is that?
Yeah, so social audio, a lot of people may have heard of this app called Clubhouse that came out. It was a big hit during the pandemic. That launched this whole giant industry going into social audio, which is basically you go in a room, what they're calling rooms. Twitter launched their own version of this called Twitter Spaces, where you can talk with people online. It's like a party line back in our day, Troy.
Sure. We used to call it a telephone. We used to call it three-way dialing.
Yes, yes. So it's basically that, but on Twitter or on these other platforms. So there's a million of them that came out because Clubhouse was such a big hit. There's a lot of them that are going to go away. Either just going to disappear, get acquired, that sort of a thing.
Okay, Vincent, about 10 seconds. Hit these last couple, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I see Instagram users and usage potentially starting to decline. It's already sort of taken a hit. I see maybe employee freedom and companies not letting employees do quite as much on social media as they have in the past. And then Facebook ad spending, where companies are going to diversify their portfolios, diversify their spending across TikTok and other social media platforms, not just Facebook for ads.
All right, Vincent, thank you so much, and have a great 2022. I'm sure we'll see you here coming up next year, and have a good New Year's Eve.
You too.
All right, take care, Vincent. Appreciate it. All right, so